Here's something that will make you question whether NFL players should be allowed at fireworks parties during the offseason. Najee Harris, the talented running back who just switched from Pittsburgh to the Los Angeles Chargers, is still battling an eye injury that's keeping him sidelined weeks after a July 4th celebration went horribly wrong. The latest update came through a Snapchat post that has fans genuinely worried. Harris shared an image from the Chargers' training facility in El Segundo, California, and the reality is stark. His left eye remains completely shut, unable to open properly. This isn't just a minor scrape we're talking about here, but here's where it gets controversial. Should professional athletes be restricted from attending events with potential safety risks during their offseason? Harris was simply celebrating Independence Day like millions of other Americans when a fireworks malfunction injured multiple people at the gathering. Yet now, his entire season hangs in the balance. Chargers head coach Jim Harbaugh has been providing cautiously optimistic updates throughout the week as his team prepares for their upcoming preseason matchup against the New Orleans Saints. His assessment? Progress is happening, but it's measured in tiny increments. Better today than yesterday, Harbaugh explained to reporters, echoing the sentiment multiple times. He was better yesterday than he was the day before that. Better today than yesterday, and praying better tomorrow than today. For those unfamiliar with NFL injury protocols, Harris currently sits on what's called the NFI list. That's non-football injury and illness for newcomers to football terminology. This designation exists specifically for situations like this, where players get hurt outside of team activities. The catch? If Harris doesn't get cleared and activated before the final roster deadline later this month, he'll automatically miss at least the first 4 regular season games. That's a quarter of the fantasy football season for those keeping score. Douglas Hendrickson, who represents Harris as his agent, initially described the injury as superficial when he released a statement in July. He painted a picture of optimism, stating that Harris is fully expected to be ready for the upcoming NFL season. But here's what most people miss. The difference between what agents say publicly and what's actually happening behind closed doors can be significant. The 27-year-old athlete hasn't stepped foot on the practice field since joining his new team. Instead, he's been limited to walking laps around the facility while wearing a helmet and weighted vest. Essentially, the most basic form of conditioning possible. Harbaugh insists this approach aligns with medical recommendations, saying Harris is doing everything he can within the current restrictions. This situation becomes even more intriguing when you consider Harris's background. He spent 4 productive seasons wearing the black and gold in Pittsburgh after being selected 24th overall in the 2021 NFL Draft. During that tenure, he established himself as a workhorse, appearing in 68 games and accumulating impressive statistics. 4,312 rushing yards and 28 touchdowns on 1,097 carries, plus another 1,149 receiving yards and 4 aerial scores on 180 catches. The financial implications add another layer of complexity to this story. Harris signed a 1-year deal with the Chargers, worth $5.23 million in base salary, with an additional $4 million available through performance incentives. That's serious money riding on his ability to get healthy and contribute immediately. And this is the part most people miss. Harris hails from Antioch, California, making his move to the Chargers something of a homecoming. He's not just fighting to get back on the field for any team. He's battling to play in front of family and friends who can finally watch him compete without traveling across the country. But let's address the elephant in the room. Is it fair to blame Harris for this situation? He was attending a traditional American celebration when disaster struck. Yet some critics might argue that professional athletes earning millions should be more cautious about the activities they choose during the offseason. What do you think? Should NFL players avoid potentially risky social events during their time off? Or is that an unreasonable expectation for young adults trying to maintain normal lives? And more importantly, does Harris deserve criticism for this accident, or is he simply an unfortunate victim of bad timing and worse luck? The comments section is waiting for your take on this developing story.